Well, hello again, YouTube. I don't know why I keep starting with a slightly yellow screen before it goes back to normal. It's weird. It's happened a few times now. Well, hello, welcome to the new edition of Random Bollocks. Hope you, before I begin, I hope you enjoyed the previous video. If you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. I'll wait. With the one I'm looking at a watch that I'm not wearing, but you know. Welcome back. You probably actually will go along and watch that after this, or you probably watched it before, so you know, the idea that you're going to stop watching this to go watch that one and come back again is a bit fucking strange, isn't it? But you know. Yeah, I thought I'd make that video because, well, a few things have been said quite a lot on the internet recently, and, you know, I just thought I'd clarify a few things. I will point out, before anyone starts getting on the high horse and saying I have controversial opinions and things like that, which I do, for a start, so it doesn't really make any difference, right? In the previous video, which is the one called Insanity Check, right, everything mentioned in that video, I say mentioned, it was a slideshow, but you know, but everything in the slideshow was not an opinion, it was a fact. Now, there are a lot of people out there at the moment that don't like facts. There's a lot of people out there that's not going to like that video. But if you don't like that video, and you try to report it and get it taken down, that just proves my point. That you don't like facts. Facts are facts, and they cannot be changed. All of those things that were in that video are as correct as water is wet. The sun is hot. I'm a man. Anyway, so yeah, feel free to check that video out. Could be quite interesting to see the responses I get on that. So what do I actually want to talk about? Because now I've mentioned that video, I forgot what it is I actually wanted to make this video about. Yeah. There was something in particular, but I can't quite remember. There were two things, actually. But for some reason I can't remember what they are. Yeah, this is going well, isn't it? Yeah. I've already tried to re-record this video. This is the third time re-recording this video, because I kept getting it wrong. I would have stuck them into the end of this video as outtakes, but I'm not entirely sure with regards to how to do that. Because obviously with having a new laptop, I no longer have Windows Movie Maker. I have a movie maker that can make movies, like the previous video, the slideshow, and it can do that with video clips, much like in my Total Clips videos from my other channel. Which, if this gets put on that channel, will be this channel. I'm going to have to stop saying that in my videos, it's going to really confuse people. But it's not Windows Movie Maker, so I won't be able to do anything at the moment like me split screen singing videos, you know, where there's one me sat here and or stood here, you know, and the other one's here, and they you can't really see the line, it goes down the middle of the screen, and they sing with each other, you know. Yeah. So I really need to get Windows Movie Maker back again. And I need the old Windows Movie Maker. Not Windows Live Movie Maker, the newer one, the old Windows Movie Maker. So if anyone can help me get that, to put me in the direction of where to get it, that would be very helpful. What the fuck did I want to talk about? Israel? No, not Israel. No. I've mentioned Israel in the previous video. Wasn't transgender issues. Wasn't people on YouTube. That was on the previous video. Shit, what the fuck did I want to make a video about? Oh, that was one of them. Abortion. Weird thing for me to talk about. Yeah, let's make a video about abortion, shall we? Now, as we all know, abortion is the killing of an unborn baby for whatever reason the person decides to do it, I suppose. Maybe they don't feel they can raise a child, maybe they don't want the child, maybe the child was the product of rape, whatever. No. And there's been these women that have been going around to universities and colleges in America, and they call themselves pro-lifers, I think. Because obviously in America they've just overturned Roe v. Wade, which is the law on whether or not you can have an abortion. So you've still got the two sides of the argument. You've got the pro-life people and you've got the pro-choice people. But hang on, let me rephrase that. You've got the pro-life people and the pro-abortion people, who for some reason won't say they're pro-abortion. They will say, oh, I'm pro-choice. Yeah, but then you say, well, the choice to do what? The choice to whether to have an abortion or not. Well, then you're pro-abortion or not. Which sounds a lot like prohibition, which when you could drink back in the 20s. The 1920s, that is, you know, depending on when you're watching this video. It'll be up there forever, won't it now? Yeah, in the 1920s there was prohibition, for anyone who doesn't know, if they don't teach you it in history. But yeah, abortion. Now, I don't agree with either side of the argument on principle. I agree with some of the points that the pro-lifer people make, but I don't agree entirely. And I don't think there's that much I agree with on the other side. But I'm definitely not a pro-lifer, you know, with regards to abortion. Obviously I'm pro-life in all other ways, you know, live your life, you know, pro-life, right? But with regards to simply abortions, I wouldn't call myself a pro-lifer. What I want to do is point out something that both sides seem to be forgetting. And that is the following. The pro-choice people often say, you know, my body, my choice. Right then, fair enough. You have bodily autonomy over what you can do with your own body. However, with regards to abortion, that is not entirely true. Not because I totally agree with everything the pro-lifers say or anything like that, because I don't, right? My reason for saying that isn't true is this. Abortion should never have been your choice. Because abortion, as it is, as a medical procedure, is for use in emergencies. It is an emergency medical procedure that is performed if carrying the baby to term will put the parent at risk or the child. Now I don't mean, oh, if you're going to carry the baby, your boyfriend's going to beat you up. I mean, if simply having the baby inside you for the 9 months is going to cause you serious medical problems and possibly kill you, or cause the baby certain medical problems, serious medical problems and possibly kill it, then have the abortion. It is an emergency medical procedure. So it was never a choice. And it never should have been a choice. It never should have even been offered as a choice. Because an emergency medical procedure should never be a choice. I mean, obviously it's a choice. Do you want to die or do you want to have the abortion? Or do you want the baby to die or do you want to have the abortion? Which will kill the baby anyway, so not really much point in making that decision. But an emergency medical procedure is not meant to be something you can just choose to do whenever you feel like it. It reminds me of another one I'm going to mention in a minute. So really, the argument shouldn't be whether you can choose to have an abortion or not. The point that should be made by anyone on any side, whether they're pro-choicers, pro-lifers, anyone, is that this is an emergency medical procedure and it is never your choice to make. Obviously it becomes a choice when that emergency presents itself, but that's it. So if you're one of these 14, 15, all the way up to fucking 25-year-old slags that goes out there shagging 5 different guys a week, and you happen to get pregnant, and you're not, because you're not using a condom or you're not on the pill or whatever, you know the consequences of your actions, and you end up getting pregnant because you're a bit of a tart. And then you decide to wander down to your local abortion clinic and have an abortion. That's not right. Now, I don't want to get into the whole, well, what if it's the product of rape argument, because, you know, I mean, I'm on the fence with that one, really. I mean, I can't really side with either person in that argument, so I'm going to stay away from that one. Although a lot of people that know me know my particular thoughts on that one. I suppose you could consider them to be quite controversial. But you shouldn't just be able to go and get an abortion willy-nilly whenever you feel like it. Emphasis on the willy there, I suppose. Putting a dick joke. Lighten the mood a bit. I'm talking about abortions here, I mean, come on. You see, abortion is as much an emergency medical procedure as another emergency medical procedure that people often choose to get now as well. And that, of course, is a Caesarian. Now, much like an abortion, a Caesarian was created as an emergency medical procedure designed to be used if birthing the baby naturally is going to harm the baby or going to harm the mother. If either one of those two eventualities could happen, Caesarian. You should not just be able to go to the hospital and because you're, you know, in labour and go, you know what, I want a Caesarian. No, you shouldn't be able to do that. Much like you shouldn't be able to walk into an abortion clinic just because you're a bit of a tart and get yourself an abortion. It's pretty much the same thing. I mean, it's not the same thing, it's completely different, but it's the same thing. It's not a choice. I mean, it is a choice, but only when that choice needs to be made. You know, it's like, sing me a song or shoot you in the head. Well, then I'll try and sing you a song. You know. Well, fuck it, just shoot me then, I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, that's it, isn't it? Right? So it's a choice that only gets made when you're backed into a corner. It's not a choice you should be able to make whenever you feel like it. And both of these things, abortions and Caesarians, are the same in that respect. They should only be a choice as a last resort. If the life of the child or the life of the mother, yes, I said mother, not parent or birthing person, mother, only women can get pregnant, check the previous video. If the life of the child or the life of the mother is endangered by either carrying the pregnancy to term or giving birth naturally, either one of those medical procedures can be performed. That is what they are for, that is what they always were for, that is what they always should be for, and hopefully that's what they always will be for. You should not be able to just choose to have it whenever you feel like it. So you can go out there and you can spout, my body, my choice. Well, yes, in most respects, yes, your body, your choice. You have the right to decide what to do with your body. You decide whether you want to get a tattoo. You decide whether you want to have breast implants. You decide if you want to have a shave, which I think I should at some point. Especially here, fucking hell, look at that. Sounds like Freddie Mercury or something. You decide what hairstyle you want. You decide if you want to medically transition, if you want to go that far. I mean, these days you can decide if you want to change your eye colour. I mean, you know, you can change your nose shape, you can have all kinds of cosmetic surgery, whatever. But you decide what job you want. You decide mainly how many children you might want. You decide who you have sex with. Everything. You have full control over all your body, except possibly your breathing. But you don't get to choose whether you have an abortion or not. That choice should never have been put to you as a choice you can have. And that's where I see the complaint at the minute. Because these people that are complaining that they can no longer have abortions are not complaining that they can't have an abortion. They're complaining that a choice that was given to them has now been taken away. Alright then, you want to be mad about that, fair enough. But what I'm saying is, that choice should never have been given to you in the first place. Because no emergency medical procedure should be available as a choice whenever you feel like it. That's the whole point of an emergency medical procedure. You can't just wander into a hospital and decide you want open heart surgery, can you? Now, if you need it, because it's an emergency, you need heart surgery, then you get it. If you need a kidney bypass, then you get it. But you can't just go into the hospital and go, oh yeah, I think I want a kidney bypass, please. No, it doesn't work like that, does it? So you can't just walk in and say, I want a Caesarian or I want an abortion. That's the whole point of emergency medical procedures. And I think that's all I have to say on that. What I can't remember is what the other thing was I wanted to talk about. Oh yes. So they popped into my head. There's one thing that I left out of my previous video when I was talking about transgender issues. Something that rather intrigues me, actually. Apart from the fact that there's no such thing as non-binary, but, you know, we'll ignore that for now. You've got all these activists out there, the trans activists, you know, want to push for trans people to have more rights, and, you know, they're quite happy with their kids being indoctrinated into this woke bullshit at schools, stuff like that, you know, and they're really pushing for, you know, they love the pride parades, and they want the drag queens shaking their asses in front of small children, and the mostly naked people in the pride parades, showing off their various fetishes. But they're a bit hypocritical. I've seen, especially with regards to certain videos I've watched on YouTube and from other places. They're very hypocritical because they walk around saying, "Oh, trans women are women, and therefore trans men are men." Right? Okay, fair enough. Right? Right, then let's go along with that. I mean, it's not true, but let's go along with it, right? So these people go around saying trans women are women, or is it trans women are women? I don't know which way this video is. But yeah, they walk around saying trans women are women. But then you ask those same people, especially the straight white men, or the straight any race men, would you date one of these trans women? Because trans women are women. You just said it. You said trans women are women. So would you date one of these trans women, who are of course women according to you? And they all say no. And I find that a bit hypocritical. Because you're the ones that are going around telling us all that trans women are women, and they should be accepted as women and taken as women and treated like women, and they're all women, 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 trans women are women. Right? But then you're the people that are the first people to say, no, I wouldn't date one. And then when you ask why, they say, because they're not women. But hang on a minute, you just said trans women are women. You're trying to convince me that trans women are women, and yet you won't date one because, in your exact words, they're not women. So trans women are women until you have to treat them as one. Is that it? It's alright to go around trying to force us, the rest of us, to treat trans women as women, but the minute you're compelled to treat a trans woman as a woman, you don't want to know. That's very interesting, isn't it? Yeah. It's just a tad hypocritical. And talking about education, what the fuck is wrong with America? Why is your current generation of people that are leaving school and going to university thick as shit? I've been watching videos on YouTube of people going around asking random Gen Zers on the street like, the most basic fundamental questions, like how many states are there in America? And they can't answer. I mean, they can answer it, but they get the wrong answer. It's like, can you name 5 countries outside of America? One of them said Maryland. I'm quite sure that's one of the states, isn't it? Or is it a city? I don't know. I don't really know much about American geography. Then again, these are the same people, all Americans, who are taught that England, Great Britain and the United Kingdom are all the same thing. And if you live in England, you must be living somewhere very close to London, and you must probably know the Queen. Or these days, I suppose, the King. And that we drink an awful lot of tea. We don't drink an awful lot of tea. I'll clear a couple of things up for you about British culture. We do drink tea. We do. Some of us drink a lot of tea. Several cups a day. But there's a much larger amount of us, I believe, maybe 50-50, I don't know, that actually drink coffee instead. I drink coffee. I haven't drunk tea for years. I can't fucking stand this stuff. I started drinking coffee when I started going to college. So we're going back to when I was about 16, 17, and I started drinking coffee. And I've never looked back. I've had the odd cup of tea every now and then, but not very much. And usually that's an Earl Grey tea, Earl Grey hot. You're a big Star Trek fan, you see, a bit of Earl Grey tea. But yeah, you have some weird fucking ideas about us over there. One particular weird idea you have about us, and you see it in all American films and TV series when there's an English person there, is that we all seem to talk in the same posh cunt accent. And as you can clearly see from hearing me speak, as you can clearly hear from hearing me speak, rather, we don't. We don't all walk around talking like this, darling. Oh, how many lumps of sugar in your tea? No, we don't all talk like that, there is an American user on YouTube. His name is, I believe it's Tyler Rumpel. Stiltskin. No, I think it's Tyler Rumpel. I could be wrong. He's been learning quite a lot recently over the past year, maybe. He's been learning a lot about English culture, about what we're like at the pubs and what we like to eat and good places to visit when you come here, rather than just hanging around in London and then fucking off again. And the fact that we're not all a massive nation of huge tea drinkers, he's been learning all this kind of stuff, and I like that. He doesn't want to be. I mean, he describes himself as a typical average American, but he doesn't want to remain a typical average American. He wants to learn. He wants to expand his knowledge, particularly about the United Kingdom and its countries. And I like that. And I rather enjoy his videos. So he watched one not too long ago of various different accents around the UK, particularly around England. Because there's a few. You wouldn't think so, it's such a small country, compared to like America or even Russia. But, There's a wide diversity of accents in this country, some of which even we can't fucking understand. When you hear a Welsh person actually talk Welsh, you're sort of like, come again? Can I have that in English, please? Of course, there are a few Americans out there that think Americans invented the English language. Now, those people are really stupid, and I think they're beyond help. But just in case there's any chance that they might learn something, the language is called English because it was invented by the English. Otherwise it would be called American, wouldn't it? And of course you differentiate it as well, don't you? You've got American English and British English. British English is just English. It's not British English, it's English. It should be English and American English. Because you guys are fucking strange. You did get one thing right though, because you've got all these things that you've named wrong. You know, like the hood of your car, which is actually the bonnet. But there's one thing you got right, and that is the back of your car. You call it a trunk, don't you? You see? And we call it the boot. Trunk is actually correct. Because many years ago, before the actual bit that you could open and stuff your shopping in or whatever, right, cars used to drive around with a huge trunk on the back, like a big chest. And I don't mean a big pair of boobs. Like a big chest, a trunk, you know, a trunk. Like for when you go on holiday, but a big one, huge. Yeah? And of course it was still referred to as a trunk. We used to put stuff in there. And that's where the name for the back bit of the car that you open up and stick your shopping in comes from. So you guys actually got that right. So I don't know why we changed our minds and decided to start calling it a boot. Maybe because that's the opposite part of your body to your bonnet, which will go on your head. Bonnet goes on your head, your boot goes on your foot. I don't fucking know. But you actually got that right. But yeah, I'll slip a link to Tyler Rumpel's, I think that's his name, YouTube channel down in the description. And if I figure out what the other thing is that I wanted to talk about, I guess that will become another video. Because I'm not going to try and tack it onto the end of this one, because this one's already nearly half an hour. So, fucking hell. Ow. So, until next time, Jesus hates Christ on a bike with stabilizers.